Hello, everyone. It's Brian, and I am finally back. As you can tell by my beautiful golden brown tan, we spent a few days on a beach vacation in Mexico, and it was wonderful. Sad to be back. Partly because when we got back, there was snow. Well, it snowed the day after we got back, so that's kind of disappointing. But it was a good time. It was fun to be on the beach. What else can I say? Didn't have to cook. The only downside to me is that there are so many videos to catch up on. I described it to, I think Ben Rankins. I mentioned it was like an avalanche of content, which honestly I feel like declaring bankruptcy. I'll never get through it all, but I did make an attempt to watch at least one video from many people, and I'm still catching up. So here we are with the annual Rob Walker 2024 vinyl tag. And I was remembering when I was deciding what to show for this one that the second video I ever did for the VC was the vinyl tag 2022, which was a lot of fun. And so I won't say much else about that except just to get going. I've watched a few of these already, and I hope I don't duplicate things, but it's going to be inevitable. So 20 questions, which means there are a lot of records to talk about, and especially since number 7 asked for 7 records. So favorite record you purchased in 2023 is the first question. I think the favorite thing I purchased in 2023 was the David Bowie box set, which I mentioned in a recent video for a contest entry, so I'm not going to talk about that, but I will mention a single record that I bought in 2023 that is my favorite of the year, and that is this one from Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros, the benefit concert for striking firefighters. Now this of course came out in 2002 and it's been repressed a couple times, but for some reason it just passed me by. I didn't know about it, and so I didn't get a copy until the repressing in 2023. And this is just it's just full of memories, because in addition to the Joe Strummer Mescaleros tracks, there's a number of Clash tracks like Rudy Can't Fail, White Man and Hammersmith Palais. We've got a bunch of things, and then we have the kind of reunion with Mick Jones. So the last 3 tracks are with Mick Jones. Of course, we have I Fought the Law, and then these great Joe Strummer tracks like Coma Girl and Johnny Appleseed. So really, really great. It's kind of sad though, of course, because he passed away, and the Clash are one of my favorite bands. So this is kind of a bittersweet thing to listen to, but it's great. I really like it. The last record you bought in 2023. The last thing about oddly was this Tron Legacy, the soundtrack. Now, I bought this because I was watching Morten Astad's channel, and he mentioned he got it, and for some reason it was on sale at the same time on Amazon Canada, even though he's overseas. This is a Daft Punk soundtrack with some bonus material. Now, I will say that I think the first Tron soundtrack is better, but this is very cinematic. It's kind of cool to listen to. It's more orchestral than I thought it would be, but it's actually pretty good. And I did see the movie. It's both of them, and they're pretty good. Number 3 is a band or singer who released 2 or more albums in the same year. It was a lot to be chosen from there, and I think this is one of those things where it's more common in the 70s to find this, because I think that was the standard part of record contracts. But from May 1972, Lou Reed's debut record after leaving the Velvet Underground. Not my favorite Lou Reed record, but actually it's interesting because it has early version of Berlin on here, and so it's interesting to see where he was going, but not my favorite. But in November of 1972, he released Transformer, one of his best records, to be honest, because it has Satellite Love, Walk on the Wild Side, Perfect Day, Vicious. This is a really, really strong record, thanks possibly in part to David Bowie and Mick Ronson, who help out here. But this is this is really great. Number 4, if you could only listen to music from one decade, which would you choose? And really, I didn't really have to think too deeply about this, because I think it's well known that the music you were listening to at the time, like the time you came of age, the time you started discovering music, is the music you're probably going to be most favorable to. And for me, that was the 1980s. And so I'm talking about the good 1980s, not the bad 1980s, because you ever see those 80s compilations on CDs they used to have, and there'd be like, you'd have like Echo and the Bunnymen and the Smiths, and the next track would be like Cyndi Lauper or Def Leppard. It made no sense to me, but I'm thinking of things like the Smiths, Echo and the Bunnymen, Lloyd Cole and the Commotions. I mean, there's a whole list. Violent Femmes, there's a long list of things, and largely in the new wave, but not exclusively the new wave category. So that would be my choice, the 1980s. And I didn't pull records out for that because it'd just be too many. Now, Rob is from Manchester, so question 5 is show a record by a band or singer from Manchester. So I decided to pull out this beautiful original UK pressing of Love Bites by the Buzzcocks. You probably can't see it; it's embossed in white there, the embossed sleeve. But this is great. Of course, Ever Fallen in Love is probably the song that you would know the most if you know the Buzzcocks. And I don't think the Buzzcocks got a lot of traction over here. I don't think people really listened to them. There was only one station that could have played them, and I actually can't remember if they did or not. But there you go. Which band or singer did you listen to the most in 2023? Honestly, I really have no idea. I don't use Spotify. I mean, I do sort of, but not enough to be important enough to get important statistics from them. Like, what did you listen to most on Spotify? It doesn't really factor in. So I have no idea, but I will give you a sort of an answer. I will pick the artist I listen to most in like November, December. And for me, that would be Nico. And the reason it's Nico is because, as you may know, I was doing a series of videos on John Cale. It's yet to be determined if I will finish that because honestly, the work that goes into it and the amount of people who listen to it is kind of odd. People weren't watching it, and I don't really know why, but this happens to be the Marlboro Index, and John Cale produced all but one of her records, and he did a lot of arrangements and even appears as a musician on some of them. So I went back and listened to a lot of her stuff because, when I heard her with the Velvet Underground, I wasn't really sold. I didn't like her songs originally, the ones that she sang, but then I grew to like her and realized that, yeah, she's a very interesting person. So I went back and listened to a lot of her music. All right, number 7, which ties into the number 7, is show 7 7-inch records. Some time ago, I showed every 7-inch record in my collection, except for some that I am still saving for a different video. But I didn't show anything from albums that had a 7-inch record bundled with them. So I chose the first 7 I thought of, because there are more than that. But the first 7 albums that have a 7-inch single with them, I decided to show today. So first, a Canadian band called The Preoccupations. This comes with a 7-inch record, both on clear vinyl. This band was once known as Viet Cong, and they changed their name because of an outcry about their name, so they're now Preoccupations. Pretty good record. Another Canadian band is Godspeed You Black Emperor, and this is Hallelujah Don't Bend Ascend. And this comes with a bonus 7-inch record. Very cool. Now, the Beatles, Let It Be Naked. I don't have to tell you what this is. I think everyone knows. This is Paul McCartney's vision of Let It Be. And as you probably already know, if you know this record, is that all the conversation was compiled onto this 7-inch record called Fly on the Wall. So all that chatter you hear in the original is put on this record. And another original UK pressing of this one from Bauhaus, Press the Eject and Give Me the Tape, the live concert. Now, if you got the original UK pressing, it came with a poster and this 7-inch single with 2 tracks, both recorded live, Double Dare and Hair of the Dog. That's pretty cool. Here's kind of an oddball one if you don't live in North America. This is Stranglers 4, not to be confused with the first Stranglers record, which has 2 names, Stranglers 4 and Rattus Nova, whatever it is, the Norwegian Rat. This was a compilation that was released in North America and maybe one other country. So it has The Raven, Baruch Badello, Nuclear Device, Men in Black, etc., etc. And it came with a 7-inch single, which has 4 tracks, and those are White Room, the Cream song, Straighten Out, we've got Do the European, and Choosy Susie. So that's kind of cool. Here's a record I mentioned in the video about a month ago, Bob Dylan's Time Out of Mind, and those who have this record will know that there is a 7-inch single, the remix of Lovesick and Cold Irons Bound. That's cool. And then one of my favorite records from 2021, this Lloyd Cole record called Antidepressant. And it came with a 7-inch single of Coattails, can't remember what's on the flip side. What is on the flip side? Nothing is on the flip side. So, single-sided 7-inch record. Moving on. Who's coming to your party? Choose 4 music-related people to come to an imaginary dinner party, past or present. Who would you invite? One person leapt immediately to mind, and if you know me, you know that's going to be Leonard Cohen. I would have loved to have a dinner with Leonard Cohen. This is a live EP from Fredericton. And then I kind of struggled with who else to choose, and unfortunately I chose all men, and that's kind of weird, but it is what it is. Bob Dylan. I mean, they know each other. Dylan and Cohen know each other. They have something to talk about. I think Bob Dylan is like a musical genius. So I think he had to be there. And honestly, when I was thinking about it, like favorite artists, and obviously I left out Morrissey because I think he'd be kind of a disruptive force. But David Bowie, another musical genius, I think he has to be there. And just to add another Canadian, because we have Leonard Cohen, I thought I'd choose clearly the best guitarist in Canada and a very intellectual singer-songwriter, Bruce Cockburn. I just read his autobiography in the summer. Still making music, exceptional guitarist. I would have him there. All right, we lost them. Choose one musician who passed away in 2023, and there were lots, and the one that probably meant most to me was Shane MacGowan from the Pogues. I mean, he was in bad health, but his music was just so fun music. I've always really enjoyed the Pogues. So he is sadly missed. Number 10. Imagine you could only listen to music from one country. Which country would you choose? Now, of course, I'm Canadian, but that is not going to prevent me from choosing a country that is not Canada. It's not to say that I don't like Canadian music. I think there's a lot of great Canadian music. But honestly, it comes down to United States versus United Kingdom. And because I like the 80s music so much, I'd have to choose the UK. Firstly, because we have the original, the British invasion with the Stones and the Beatles, the Who, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. I mean, I don't have to even list all those bands, the Kinks as well. And then, for me, the 80s period where we got all of that amazing new wave music coming through. So I'm definitely choosing the United Kingdom, with apologies to Canada. I'm sorry. Even if I were to choose number 2, I think number 2 would be the United States. Sorry, Rob from Northern Revolutions. All right. Number 11. Name 3 vinyl community channels you discovered in 2023. I discovered way more than 3 channels. And I, in front of me, have a list of at least 25, and I know I've left some off. So I never was sure when I clicked the record button, I wasn't sure if I was going to list them all or just choose some. And maybe I'll just list a few. I'll probably list more than 3. Some of these channels were new in 2023, and some of them I didn't discover until 2023. So I've already mentioned Morten Astad, Mike Vinyl Spiral, Jack Vinyl Martini, a Canadian, Gambler 812. Let me just read a bunch. All the World's a Stage, Beer and Vinyl, Marsha P, French Vinyl Addict, Berkshire Mike, No Solution, Pieface, Brent Helm, Life on This Blog, The Vinylverse, Steve Harrell, David Atkinson, Life Matters, Racer Records, Embarrassment of Riches, Press to Play, Fitz Electronic Bar, The Dark Stuff, Flat Rounded Spun, Steve Whitty, Craig Danger, and I've left lots off. And I'm not even going to finish the list. There's just too many. There's just a lot. So, number 12, show a record you bought when you were a teenager. The Soul Mining. Fantastic record. I'm a big fan. Always have been. Saw him in concert many years ago with Johnny Marr on guitar. Really great record. Show a funk or soul record. I've chosen a soul record, and oddly, when I picked it, I realized it's from 1974, which features in a later question. But the Dramatics. This is the best of Dramatics, and this came out in 1974. A compilation record. And, I'm not the biggest soul music fan. I have some, but this one just occurred to me because this is a record I found on the side of the road. Someone was getting rid of stuff from their house, and I walked by and picked it up. So it's so funny, though, because there's a song here called The Devil is Dope, which means the devil's not good. But in today's lingo, that would mean he's cool. But I don't think that's what they were getting at. This is Stax record, so cool. Now, show a record you think everyone has, and then show a record you think that nobody has. So I'm pretty sure that most people have this on cassette or album or CD or something. Springsteen's Born in the USA. A lot of hit singles on here. You know, I had other ones I was considering, but I have already seen them showed. So Springsteen. Now, I have a lot of records I think no one else has, but how about this? This is a band called Everest from LA, and this record's called Ghost Notes. This came out in 2008, and they're like an indie rock kind of band, I guess. Double LP, black vinyl, and yeah, I've never seen anyone show this record before, so there we go. Number 15, She's Great, a record by a female artist he bought in 2023, and this one I showed quite recently, but St. Vincent, Marry Me. I really like her. I think she's an underrated guitarist. Maybe she's not underrated. People who know her know that she's a fantastic guitarist, but maybe people who don't know her don't realize that, but this is really cool. I think she's really great. All right, next question is the favorite video you posted on your channel in 2023 and the favorite video you watched on the VC in 2023. Now, I was torn by that because there's one video which was called 10 Records I Listened to the Most, and it's still getting views. It's many months now, and it's over 12,000 views, which kind of confounds me. But I was deciding between that and, but I think I've narrowed it down to just the one, and that is going to be, how's that for inarticulate speech? I did a video called Recent Finds Extravaganza with Ben Rankins, which I edited some footage from Ben's channel into my video, which made it look like, well, it didn't make it look like, it was just ridiculous because I tried to look like he was with me in the studio here, but he wasn't, so I thought that was pretty funny. Okay. And the favorite video you watched in 2023, I'm going to pick a video series which other people have mentioned, and that is Spin on This with Steve from All the World's a Stage and Gary from Physical Format Rock and Roll. A fantastic series that died too soon, and of course I was a guest on that, and it was quite fun. I enjoyed it. I wish it would come back. Okay, where are we now? So many records here. Show a record you describe as a 90s classic. It's been a while since I've done this. Radiohead, The Bends. Sometimes I think this is better than OK Computer. It's just really cool, and I think this is definitely a 90s classic. Everyone should have this record. Number 18. If you could walk into the cover, look through your collection and choose a record cover that you'd like to be a part of. Do I have to cover some of this up? How about this record cover? Why not? I mean, if you're going to walk into a record cover, it seems like a good one to me. So I would walk into that record cover, and I don't have to say why. Okay, number 19. It's like a greatest hits. Show a record you're so familiar with that it feels like a greatest hits record. Now, there's a lot that I could have chosen, and I think it depends on how long you've had the record. I immediately thought of like 10 or 12 things, and in most cases they're things I've had for years and years and years and years. So, but I ended up choosing Brian Eno's Taking Tiger Mountain by Strategy. And this is Canadian pressing, I think. Is this yeah, I think this is, I'm not sure. The writing here is so small I can't even see it. But this record I listened to so many times, and every track is so familiar to me, and it's, again, just beautiful record. Oh, I should have mentioned that the Roxy Music record and this record both came out in 1974, which ties into the last question. Show me an album that was released in 1974. Kraftwerk's Autobahn. Yeah, 74. This is a Canadian copy that was released in 1985, a repressing, but this originally came out in 1974. Great record. I've always loved Kraftwerk. And there we are at the end of the 20 questions for Rob Walker. And thanks for watching. And I will be making another video or two this week. I have other things I was going to do, and I only made like 2 videos in the last, I don't even remember how many videos I made. So I have to catch up, and I have to catch up watching videos. So I'll talk to you next time.